Hello, I'm Paul, and this is Paul Plays with Fire. Welcome! Today on the show, we're going to be making my very own 11-can chili. This recipe is special to me because it is a concoction of my own making and because I made a version of this chili just over a year ago on one of the very first episodes of the Paul Plays with Fire show. It's been long enough ago that I really wanted to update the recipe. I also happen to have some leftover tri-tip steak, and that seems like a good start for some great chili. If you're not familiar with tri-tip, you should check out the video that I did about tri-tip a few weeks ago. I'll leave a link in the description. But don't be intimidated by the tri-tip. I make this recipe with ground beef all the time, and it's a great way to do it. You know, I was just walking up to the mailbox the other day, and a fella comes up to me and says, "Hey, Paul Plays with Fire. When are you gonna make chili? Weather's starting to cool off, they're playing football. It's time to make chili." This chili is midwestern style chili. That means it has beans. And because I use canned beans, it comes together really quickly. But for it to be at its best, the chili really needs to cook for a few hours. So let's get started by preparing our ingredients. We'll start with the tri-tip. We have about a pound of tri-tip that was reverse seared on a pellet smoker and then seared on cast iron in my Blackstone pizza oven. It was delicious. We're going to cut that tri-tip into smallish bite-sized pieces, but not too small because it will fall apart some when it's cooking in the chili. Next, we'll cut an onion into bite-sized pieces. Today we have a beautiful white onion that my neighbor gave me from her son-in-law's garden. Homegrown produce always tastes better. And then we'll cut a bell pepper into bite-sized pieces, and we'll do the same thing with an Anaheim pepper. I like to add an Anaheim pepper or a poblano pepper to my chili to give it a little heat, but it's not so hot that you can't eat it. And finally, we'll chop up a little fresh garlic. Chili has been a favorite of mine for years. I've cooked chili ever since I was a young adult. I just kind of made my own, and now what I call it is 11-can chili. Started out as 8-can chili, and it's grown over the years, and now it's 11 cans. So we'll talk about those cans a little bit. But basically, what it is, once you chop up the raw ingredients and get them going, it's really not too hard. First, we'll add the tri-tip to a little oil in our heated Dutch oven, and we're using our faithful Dutch oven today, the Pumpkin. This tri-tip is already cooked, so we don't have to do too much here. We just want to brown it enough to add a little fond to the pan. Next, we'll add a chopped onion. And then after a few minutes, the garlic. And then we're going to season it with a mixture of our salt, black pepper, ancho pepper, and cumin. We'll be seasoning with this mixture several times throughout the cook, so keep those spices handy. When you can smell the garlic, that's about time to add the chopped peppers. We'll let that cook for a bit so those flavors can get to know each other. We call this 11-can chili, right? So what are the 11 cans? I said earlier, this is my 11-can chili. Let's talk about those 11 cans. First up is 2 cans of Rotel tomatoes, which also adds a little heat, and 1 can of regular chopped tomatoes. When the onions and peppers have softened, we'll add the tomatoes and let them get a little heat so they can sweeten up a little bit. also season again here. After a few minutes, we'll add our beans, and I have 2 cans of chili beans and chili sauce. We'll add our chili beans with the sauce. Next up, we have 2 cans of black beans. We'll drain and rinse the black beans in the colander and then add them to the chili. Next, we're going to add 2 cans of V8. The V8 gives the chili some body and some flavor complexity that regular tomato sauce would not have. Finally, the last 2 cans are your choice. You can use 2 cans of beef broth, vegetable stock, or your favorite malt beverage. It's really up to you. Today we're using 2 cans of beef broth because I think it will complement the beefy flavors of the tri-tip. Then we'll hit it one more time with our seasoning mix, and our work here is mostly done. Now we just need to give it a long, slow simmer. I usually let it simmer for 2 to 3 hours. There is a huge flavor difference between the chili that has been cooked for an hour and chili that has been cooked for 3 hours. And if you have the time, chili is almost always better the next day. Something about that overnight rest in the fridge really tightens up the flavors. And then every once in a while, you just have to stir it. And I use a flat bladed stirring stick so that it I can kind of scrape the bottom and make sure nothing's sticking. You know, every 20 minutes, half an hour, that's all you have to do. And make sure you have it on the right temperature so it's not going to boil over. But I think we're out of the woods here. Well, it's been about an hour and it's cooking down a little bit and it's really starting to smell really good and just shaping up really good. We'll give it another hour. Well, here we are. It's been 2 hours. We're gonna call it good for now. It's a beautiful looking chili. Look at that. I'm just going ahead and dish myself up a little bowl of it. Well, it took us a few hours to get there, but we finally got us a bowl of chili. Look at this thing. Ooh, that is good looking chili. And it's, once again, I wish you had smell-o-vision because it smells as good as it tastes. Oh, and the big old chunks of tri-tip steak in there, yum. Hot, hot. Oh, but good. Oh, such complexity of flavor. It may have taken us a few hours to get there, but it was well worth the wait. This has been Paul Plays with Fire. Thanks for watching.